Hey friends, this is Pastor Craig, and I'd like to welcome you to the Ask Pastor Craig podcast. Thanks for joining me this evening. So my question this evening is this. I know the Bible commands me not to fear and that I should not be afraid. I know the Bible tells me that I ought to be in faith, and faith is the opposite of fear. But there are times in my life that I have great anxiety, or I'm afraid of upcoming events, or I'm afraid of things that could happen. Is it really a sin to be afraid? And if so, how do I get over it? Because sometimes it's hard not to have fear. Okay, thanks a lot for your question. I really appreciate it. It's an interesting subject because I've heard the same things uttered throughout my Christian experience, that God commands us not to fear, right? And that fear is actually a sin, right? It's an offense against God because when we have fear, we're not in faith, right? So obviously anything that's not in faith is a sin. And so I've heard this before. I completely disagree with that idea. Isaiah 41 is one of the chapters where the supposed command not to fear is found. And it says, "Do not be afraid, because the Lord your God is with you." Now, some people say that that's a command to be followed, but I don't think that's the case. When God inspired these words to be written, the intention was to be encouragement, not to be another burden upon those who from time to time have experiences in their life that cause fear or anxiety. The intention of passages like Isaiah 41 are to encourage us in times of fear. They're to let us know that we're not alone. They're to let us know that God has not abandoned us. And even in the times of turmoil, tribulation, trials, when life is difficult, God is there. That's what you take away from passages like this. That's what you take away from the encouragement that the Bible offers when God says, "Don't be afraid because I'm with you. Don't be afraid because I'll never leave you. I'll never forsake you." These aren't commands. These aren't greater burdens that we need to heap upon our own shoulders, that when we face difficult times and we begin to feel afraid or anxiety, that we think, "Oh no, now I'm in trouble with God." Also, right? Compounded on top of all the other things I have going on in my life. That's not the intention of God. It's a shame that people take the beautiful words of God and twist them into burdens and chains and prisons. You know what God desires for you when you're in fear? What He desires for you most is that the peace of knowing He's with you be present. That's what He really wants for you. I hope this helps you. I hope that you can lay aside the silliness that often follows religion, where there's all these commands and, God commands you not to be afraid, and see it for what it really is. The God who loves you dearly, who loves you with all His heart, and who wants the very best for you and gives His peace to you when you do feel fear. Thank you so much for listening this evening. If you have an additional comment to this or a question that's not related to this, I'd really love to hear from you. You can do that in one of two ways. At my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Pastor Craig Online, or this radio program's Facebook page, which is facebook.com/ROR Ministries. God bless you.